Hello and welcome to Mowlems Racing Travels. As you can see from behind me, we're here at the famous Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, where we're racing in the Creventic 24-hour series in the Red River Sport run by FF Corsa 488 GT3 Ferrari with Bonamy Grimes, Ivor Dunbar as usual, and also we're joined by Charlie Hollings as our fourth driver. Before we get to that, first in the programme, we're going to have some really exciting adventures, a little bit different to what you normally see in Mowlems Racing Travels, and then we'll bring you more a report on how we got on in the Barcelona 24 hours after that.
To the Chiltern Air Park in Oxfordshire, where Johnny is about to fulfil a long-held dream. But there's just one problem. The weather is threatening. It might be a very uncomfortable ride up there.
With your photographs of Kitty Hawk and the biplanes on your wall, you were always Amy Johnson from the time that you were small. No schoolroom kept you grounded while your thoughts could get away. You were taking off in tiger moths, your wings against the brushstrokes of the day. Are you there? On the tarmac with the winter in your hair, by the empty hangar doors you stop and stare. Leave the oil drums behind you, they won't care. Oh, are you there?
Well, Johnny, what a fabulous experience for you, but you didn't really choose the day.
I can't believe it. We've had like a month of beautiful weather and then we go up when it's like this. But that puts a whole new meaning to the word windswept when I was up there. I mean, Mike, the pilot, gave me one of these, which you'll see was on most of the time. So it was really me. I wasn't pretending or anything, but you needed this up with the rain hitting you, really sandblasting you. But what an experience. Absolutely fantastic. So thanks to Chiltern Air Sports for letting us come here and do it.
You wanted to do this for a long time.
I have actually. I have really always, ever since I was little, and I used to see the films with the circus acts and stuff like that, where they were genuinely moving around on the wing. I've always wanted to go up on the top of the plane, and it's a fantastic experience, and it gives you an amazing view of what's going on. But you can see actually from behind me now, I mean, look at this. So we beat the weather by literally by minutes. So absolutely amazing experience. I'd recommend it to anyone.
What about the G-forces? Because you do the loop and various other manoeuvres, but you're used to big G.
Yeah, in sort of prototypes, in class 1, sort of LMP1 prototypes, you're pulling probably anywhere between 4 and 5G. So the G load itself wasn't actually that high at all. And when you're actually up there, you actually sit quite comfortably. When you're stationary, sitting there, it's not actually that comfortable. When you get up there and you're pushed into the seat, it's actually really comfortable. So I think it's just the whole experience of being that high up. There was a moment when I was halfway up to going to do the loop that I suddenly, for a fraction of a second, felt weirdly a little bit of vertigo, like that. You suddenly got a sensation of height, which I wasn't getting lower down, and from having done skydives and stuff, you don't get higher up, so there was that little moment of middle ground. But then when we did the loop and everything, it was absolutely fine. So really, really exhilarating.
Mike, if people watching this programme want to do this, how do they go about it?
Well, you can see wing walk displays. We run this for general public. And we do it here at Chiltern Park in Oxfordshire, which is great. We also do it up at Breeton in Yorkshire, which is near Selby, mostly weekends throughout the summer, starting at the beginning of May and finishing at the end of September.
But you've been doing this for quite a long time.
I have been doing this a long time. I first started wing walk display flying back in 1991. That was my first season. But so a long time, and I've done it all over the world. We were the first people to go to China in the year 2000. We've been Middle East. We've been all over the world.
What is the history of wing walking? Johnny mentioned that back in the old days in America, it was part of almost a fairground experience.
Well, basically what happened was a lot of American pilots came back from the First World War, if they survived that is, and they just wanted to keep flying. And half of America hadn't seen an aeroplane in 1919, 1920. So by the time they went what they called barnstorming, they would go to farmers, put the aircraft in barns, they'd fly down the main street and so on. And eventually they got a bit weary of this because everybody had had a flight inside. So they thought, you know what, we'll get our mechanics to climb out on the wing. So it made it more exciting. Well, that's how really wing walking started. Mechanics climbing out and climbing all over the airfield. Rather different now. He was well strapped on. They weren't.
A lot of people remember probably the Crunchy team, which we saw at a lot of air displays. I think you were involved in that, weren't you?
I was team leader of the Crunchy team back, and that we were Crunchy from 1991 till 96, and then Utterly Butterly. That was the next lot that came along, which and then but Crunchy was a damn sight nicer than Utterly Butterly. I'm biased, but yeah, no, that's how we started with a sponsor. And actually, to do air shows, you need a sponsor. We haven't got one because they just fly members of the public.
Wow, that wing walking is something I've always wanted to do, and that was something else. But now we're here at Zip World in Snowdonia for another adrenaline rush. We're going to be going on a zip wire from the very top, as you can see behind me, and we're going to be going, I think it's about 0 to 60 in under 10 seconds. It's 1.5 kilometers of cable, and it's a 220-meter drop. And myself, Bonamy Grimes from Red River Sport, my co-driver, and also Nigel McMinn from the Chief Operating Officer of Lookers is going to be here with me to go through it and enjoy the experience. So now let's go and get suited and booted. They're going to give us some very fashionable white hard helmets. We're going to have GoPros put on them, and so you'll be able to see as much of the action as it goes on as possible.
And some sage advice from Bonamy.
Is it deemed acceptable to scream?
Yes, I think it's positively encouraged, isn't it? Try not to evacuate your bells as you're going down, that's the... You good? Yeah, I am, definitely. Thank you.
So how was the sensation of plummeting down the slate quarry?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Actually, I have to say, going up in the truck was actually an experience in itself. It's a shame that the weather was closed in quite a bit with the cloud and everything. You couldn't really see, obviously, to the top of Snowdonia and stuff like that. But actually, in some ways, going down on the zip wire with the rain smacking into your face was actually almost on the verge of painful. But actually, then you pop out the cloud over the lake that you can just see behind. That was actually quite impressive, quite exhilarating.
You're used to acceleration, you're used to speed, but you've got a motor car around you.
Yeah, I mean, the acceleration's not that much on this, but you do end up going up to quite high speeds, and obviously you're floating along on the zip wire there. And it feels remarkably comfortable with the harness. It's, I guess, the closest you can get to actually feeling like you're flying. So, after the break, we're going to head to Barcelona for the first ever 24-hour race, not only for Red River Sport, but also for Bonamy Grimes and Ivor Dunbar. And we're going to be joined by Charlie Hollings in the FF Corsa Run Ferrari 488 GT3 car on the Grand Prix circuit as well, so no holds barred.